welcome to the CNBC TV 18 special. I am Priya Sheth and I'm joining you from World Food India, which is the largest ever food processing event conducted in the country. Top chefs as well as global CEOs have made their way here to Delhi to share notes with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his cabinet colleagues on the sector. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also made a pitch to foreign investors to invest in the retailing of Made in India products. In fact, he also went ahead and launched an investor portal, which is a one-stop shop for all investments in the sector. Meanwhile, the brains behind the event, Union Food Processing Minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal, also said that the sector has already received an investment commitment of over $10 billion.
100% foreign direct investment is now permitted for trading, including through e-commerce of food products manufactured or produced in India. A single window facilitation, the SALAD provides handholding for foreign investors.
It is absolutely clear that the global companies are eagerly looking towards India for collaboration. As one of the fastest growing economies in the world, having a 1.3 billion population base, a $600 billion retail sector set to treble to 1.3 trillion by 2020, and 70% of this sector in food retail, India is indeed a destination that merits global attention in the food sector.
Not only are our doors open, those who come in, not merely do they get a red carpet, but they also, the experience of our investors have been that they've always gone back as happy investors. And I'm sure those who enter the sector will also have the same experience.
We also spoke to top global CEOs who affirmed their confidence in the Indian food market. Nestle Global Chairman Paul Bulcke spoke to my colleague Ronojoy Banerjee and said that the company has mended fences with the Indian government on food safety issues. Meanwhile, I caught up with the CEO of GSK Consumer Healthcare, Brian McNamara, who said that the company will continue to invest in India.
You know, the Prime Minister spoke, and the clear message was to investors like you all, come and invest in India. He cited the World Bank's ease of doing business report as well.
Yes, congratulations to the country, to him.
How is Nestle looking at Prime Minister's outreach?
Well, we are here already more than 100 years. We have invested quite heavily already in the past. These words are just inviting to continue and being part of this country. Food safety and food security are two very, very important issues worldwide, but especially for India. And that's what my company is all about. So we are so proud to be part of this.
In fact, you had mentioned in your speech about the concerns with food safety. You said that chapter was closed. As far as Maggi, and because we heard you issuing a statement soon after that, that was a bit of a blip. Is that now over? Are you bullish about India?
Oh yes, look, relationships always have these blips maybe, and that was a big one. And
that was a big blip.
But it was linked with trust. And what I meant by overcoming, trust is there again, and that is what's important. Trust is the most important ingredient of engaging with a country, and that's
how did you overcome that?
By working together and putting the things on the table, and having the same goal of food safety first. And we shared that.
One final question. As you make the plans for India going forward over the next 5 to 7 years, what are the key regulatory bottlenecks, Mr. Bulcke, that your team in India is telling you that India needs to overcome if India were to actually sort of realize the potential the Prime Minister was talking about?
Well, it's a huge country, 1.3 billion people. many states. I think harmonizing the framing is one of these challenges that we want to be part of.
And how important is India to Nestle? How much time does Nestle India take, in your monthly meetings or whatever you may call it? How important is India to you?
I don't take timelines like this. What I want to make sure is that we have the right people managing our activities here in the country, and that's what we have.
But the message you're giving me is that you are gung-ho, you are bullish about India going forward.
I'm here.
The changes that Prime Minister Modi and the government are making, if it was demonetization, GST, going from 130 to 100 on World Bank's ease of doing business is a tremendous accomplishment, actually. I think that's only going to get better over time. So I feel great about the business and its prospects as we look medium and long term. Obviously, there's some the execution of GST has actually been really good. Obviously, you have little issues here and there, but I've been impressed at how it's been executed and done. It's a massive change, and it obviously simplifies the way we do business.
There is a lot of talk about how companies will be taking the next leap of growth in India. And India, I understand, is a very critical market for GSK Consumer Healthcare. I think the second after the US.
That's correct.
How soon do you think India could become the top market for GSK Consumer Healthcare? Is that a possibility?
Yeah. So as you said, it's our second largest market next to the U.S. The U.S. is a massive market for us. So I think to have India be our number one market would have to be a very long-term aspiration. But we think the growth prospects here are great. We think this is a market that will grow. Our products like Horlicks and Boost reach over 200 million consumers, both children and adults, and there's 1.3 billion consumers in India. So for me, the opportunity is tremendous, both on our nutrition products, but also on our oral health products and some of our OTC products like Eno for GI ailments, so Crocin for pain. We have a great portfolio of brands, and it's a tremendous market.
You've always stressed on the importance of converting prescription drugs into OTC drugs, and that, of course, takes a life cycle of its own. How soon do you think you could convert several more prescription drugs into OTC drugs, and what's the kind of pipeline out there?
Yeah, well, on a global basis, Rx to OTC switch is something we really don't talk about the longer-term pipeline for competitive reasons, as you can imagine. But we're always looking to bring new products to market that make sense and meet consumer needs, and leveraging the brands we have. We have tremendous brands here in India to bring new benefits to consumers and new finding new ways to meet their needs and meeting their unmet healthcare needs.
While we do understand that GSK Consumer Healthcare is a flagship, it's a leading company in the consumer healthcare space, there are acquisitions that you would sort of scout. In fact, Merck and Pfizer are two companies that have been looking at selling their consumer healthcare divisions. Do you think you would be interested in buying out another portfolio to strengthen your business going forward?
We've publicly stated that as a leader in consumer healthcare, we would look at assets that come on the market. But it's a bit premature because, at least on the Pfizer side, they haven't said they're going to sell their business. But, you only do a deal like that if it really makes sense for your business and you can create value. And we'll always look at those kind of things. But I think we have a great business and a great portfolio on a global basis already, and we believe we can grow this business without having to do any kind of deal like that.
This event is also being used as a platform for other international companies to expand their base in India. In fact, we caught up with US company Hain Celestial to discuss the kind of potential it sees in Indian farm products, especially basmati.
You look at India at 1.3 billion people, you look at the growth here, you look at the opportunity, it mirrors up to what we are today. And having a partner like the Future Food Group, we have endless capital and endless opportunities. And the big thing here is what we have here is supply, farmers to help us grow the product. We do have to educate the farmers in growing without pesticides and that, but the opportunity is tremendous here.
And what about baby products? You mentioned that as well. How do you see that panning out in India?
Listen, there's 26 million babies born here every year, so, organic baby food, organic baby formula, organic foods to feed infants and toddlers, creating fresh cow's milk with DHA in it for, eyes and brain development are things that we're going to look at. And we, worldwide today, we have a $300 million baby business between Earth's Best and Ella's. So we all have the blueprint. It's just bringing it in here and getting it processed.
On that note, let's slip into a very short break. There's lots more coming up on the other side.